everybody. Today, I just wanted to talk about a very personal subject. Woohoo! So basically, I'm going to start off by saying that this video is being made because I'm hoping it can help people that are in the same situation as me. If not, I can at least, put it out there that I'm here to talk to. If anybody comes across my video and maybe is going through some sort of similar situation, or, maybe wants to talk to me about help or wants to come up with ideas for each other, it's not only just to vent, because YouTube's a very public platform, and this is a very personal subject. But I have grown okay with speaking about it because I understand that people would possibly get help from it. So, let me start. Disclaimer, this is a serious video, this is not a joke. And, I definitely don't appreciate any negative comments on this because it's a serious situation. And any comments towards me could possibly offend any other viewers or commenters. So no negativity at all. If you feel like being negative or trolling, please hasta la vista, because I don't really post serious videos anymore. So let's get to it. Now, for anybody that sees this that may have known me personally and may be related with this video, I also don't care to hear it because you know that everything is true. And yeah. So I'm gonna start with saying that this is about a relationship that I was in. And so basically, I had a boyfriend, or an ex-fiance actually, for almost 2 years. This started when I was like 16, I think. I was like 15, almost 16 when it happened. So yeah, I was just in high school. I was doing pretty good in high school until about 10th grade. And in 10th grade, I started to kind of flunk down because I was with the wrong group of people. And that's what kind of started to bring me down. And then once I started failing classes, it got harder because, I didn't know what was going on because I was ditching. I didn't ditch very often in 10th grade, though. I did pass the 10th grade, and I went on to 11th grade. So, 11th grade is the year right before the last year. So the final year of high school until you go to college is 12th grade. And college for us is like getting diplomas and stuff. Elementary till high school is your grade school, basically, which is required pretty much. College is like UK's university, I think. So yeah, around 11th grade, I started to flunk and constantly ditch. Like, I was never in class, ever. I was failing like almost all my classes at the end because I was with the wrong people. And also for the boyfriend that I had got. So I really loved this guy, and I really, related with him, and I enjoyed his presence. And I thought, in the beginning, I was really fucking up because, like, I had a bunch of relationship issues. And then I've always been the person to go out and seek these people that I want to be with and love them first. But the reason I got with this guy is because there was actually somebody who was interested in me first. And I was like, hey, I've never felt that before, so let's try it, And I got with him. He's a year younger than me. And things were pretty well for quite a while, and I had a lot of problems at home. I didn't want to be home ever, and eventually I got kicked out because of how stupid I was in school. And I decided to ruin my life and say, hey, I'm going to move in with my boyfriend of 2-3 months. So I moved in with him, which was very early to move in. Oh my God. I'm fucking crying right now. I just realized all the shit in the background. Okay, anyway, it's too fucking... I went too far to cancel and redo this video. That's hilarious. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, I moved in with him and his parents. Well, him and his mother. And stuff was pretty good for a while. It was pretty scary because I wasn't really communicating with anybody at home. I left my phone there and didn't really have a phone for a while. And then I finally got back in contact with my parents, and then I did have a phone again. And, stuff changed. But things with him were going pretty good until maybe like a little while later. I have a problem with drugs in general. But with like weed and alcohol, I mean, it's pretty normalized. But I really have a problem when there's, everyday or like almost everyday usage. Not because I'm like a jealous bitch or I want to be a bitch or anything. It's just that I think really deeply about everything. And I realize that it's like, you're constantly intoxicated. And it's like I'm never going to be around the real you because you're always high or drunk, and so it's hard, and it's like I'm not even with the person that I love. I'm with somebody that's high all the time. So he had this problem where he would constantly smoke weed, and I told him I didn't like it. So he started to go behind my back to do it and blatantly refused to not smoke for me. That was probably the beginning of the problems. And then it moved to, seeing how he treated his mother and his whole family. I had never seen such disrespect to anybody's family before like that man did. I wasn't having it, and that's when I started to kind of deteriorate, and I was stuck because I was living with this guy. I couldn't go back home. Are you crazy? And yeah, he started to get very violent, and like he was very manipulating to me. It was a lot of, like I was always working. He held a job maybe a month out of our relationship, and that's not from one single job. That's from multiple jobs all together. I was the only one working. He refused to let me go anywhere. If I wanted to hang out with one of my best friends, it was always a fight. And he got very mean, and I didn't want to fight, so I could never really go anywhere. And, I wanted to go back to school, like an actual school, hoping that, it'd be okay, because the only thing we had to buy was like cigarettes. So I told him I could keep like a part-time job for the weekends or something and go to school again, because I didn't want to do online. I wanted to be able to go and understand all the school. He refused to let me go to school. So, I really couldn't do anything, and I never had any money, and I was always paying for everything of his, and this was the entire relationship, by the way, all of this stuff. I always had to buy him stuff, and he always had to keep track of my money. He always kept track of my phone. Like, if I was on my phone, he would not let me be on it by myself. He was always looking over at it. And he'd always take my phone and look at it, look through it, question everything, and, there was no trust or anything. And this is my rule. My rule is, if you break up once, that's the end. You can't go back, because once you break up once, the relationship is never the same. And this is really true. If you break up with somebody that, even if you really love them and you think they really love you, if you break up once, there's a reason that you break up. There's always a reason to break up. You're not just going to break up because no reason, you know? Especially after so long. You're always going to break up for a reason. So if you get back with them, nothing's ever going to feel the same, and you're just going to keep going in the cycle of breaking up, getting back together again, breaking up, you know. That's my rule, and it's very true for anybody. But yeah, we broke up once finally after like a year and a half maybe. And after that, you know, we kept getting back together and breaking up, getting back together, breaking up, just like I said. You know, this always happens. And finally, he almost got a job at somewhere that paid $15 an hour, which is amazing. And I was very excited. He didn't show up for either of his shifts. I got upset, and I was thinking about, you know, how my parents would tell me that this sounds like their relationship, and that's what really hit home, because they don't have a good relationship. They never have. It's been really bad. And I kept thinking, you know, do I really want to spend the rest of my life with somebody who can't hold a job? First off, there's all the other perks as well, but that's just the first thing. So, yeah, I got really upset because I had 2 jobs. For him to not even show up to his new job really hurt. And I said, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. And that's when, you know, I'm not going to go into detail, but there was a lot of violence that went on that day. And I had to text my dad and tell my dad to tell him to get the fuck out of there. And yeah, that finally ended it. It was a very stressful relationship. My new relationship that I'm in is amazing. And his name is Josh. Josh, he's amazing. He is literally the opposite of everything that my ex did. And, you know, there's still times where Josh will do something and I'll start to freak the fuck out. You know, it's like actual PTSD. Even if he's not doing anything, you know, like sometimes he'll get upset and say what's on his mind, and I just start to freak out and like shut down. You know, I'm still struggling with this shit. Like it's really hard. It's not easy, and he's treating me like I'm a fucking piece of gold. Like, not even, I'm a piece of like diamond to him. The first diamond he's ever collected. That's how I feel. And I still, you know, sometimes get really scared that the same kind of stuff's gonna happen. It's a really traumatic thing when you go through something like I did. And I didn't go through all the details because this video would be like an hour long. But like, that was the gist of it. And I just want you guys to know that if you are ever in a relationship where you feel unsafe, like there's no trust around, you know, you're doing a lot more than the other is doing, you don't feel right, or anything negative that's not changing, they're never going to change. That's what my ex would tell me all the time. He'd say, I promise I'll change, I'll do it for you. He might be good for a week at tops, and you go right back to it. And it just draws you in. It draws you in. They're never going to change. Because if they wanted to change, they would have never put you in that situation in the first place. If they did, give them one chance. If they don't change, they're not going to. So don't keep your hopes up. If you're ever in a relationship or a situation like this at all, you need to get the fuck out of there. Because it's going to ruin your life. You need to notice the signs early, and if you let it go for too long, you're going to start to feel trapped, like I did. But if you are feeling trapped already, you You have the power to leave. I did. Everything was difficult. It was very scary, but I got out of it. I'm here, and now I have somebody that I deserve. And you never know what's on the other side until you jump over. That's not a reference to kill yourself. So I hope that I can get some feedback on this video, and maybe if anybody needs anyone to talk to, I'm always here. You guys can add my Snapchat also. I post lots of funny videos on there. I always forget to save them to post them to YouTube, so like you'd probably be more entertained there than you would here. It's Jazzy Clue, JAZZYCLOO. That's all it is, and I'll add you guys. But yeah, that's all I have for today. I don't know how to exit this kind of thing. See you guys later. Bye. Thanks for listening.